Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Man United Agenda. And yes, we are back, and it is Monday night, as always, and we're here to talk about the new managerial position at Manchester United. Yes, everyone. Hello and welcome back to the Man United Agenda. And I am Solo, and I'm joined with my Rebel, OMONDI. How we doing? And by Jay. How we doing, guys, today? Jay, I'm going to come and pick on you first. And the reason I've got to pick on you, yeah, you're showing me up. This running you're doing is killing me. Every Sunday, I'm sitting there, I'm hard at work, and I'm seeing Jay's face sweating. I'm thinking, you're killing me because I couldn't keep up these days.
He's a good guy, Solo. You know, I've got a lot of time for positivity, and he's always on my Insta. He's always commenting, "Yes, bro, keep it up." Fire emojis, and I've got a lot of time for that, man. Positive vibes. I appreciate it.
It is positive.
And I apologize for all the running and that. But I've met you, Solo, right? And you don't need to worry about getting out there running. Like, my belly is catching up with me, man. Middle age is catching me. Do you understand? Like, you didn't see me after lockdown, bro. I was like getting a bit big, trying to chase after the kids and running out of breath after 30 seconds. I thought I need to do something about it. So you'll be all right. I've got to put the work in to keep myself just okay.
You know what, as well, Jay? I don't know if you got OMONDI on Instagram or any other social media platform here, but I think OMONDI is watching you very closely. You know that he's been doing hill runs and stuff like that over the last few days.
So it's got to go one better, Annie, man. You know what I mean? Like, I'm there on the flat ground down near the canal, and he's got to go up hills. Do you know what I mean? Now people are going to be looking at going, go on.
I see Jay's photo. What he does, you don't see photos of him doing 10K. You just see his after face. Yeah.
It's this, right? Yeah. It's a little bit of this. Another 10K. And then someone will go, "Hang on a minute, I've just seen you tweeting 30 seconds ago, sat in front of your couch. You ain't been out on 10K. You've been watching the game for the last 2 hours."
We want to see some more moving pictures, you know. We want to see some action. Just or even a circuit, you know, some people put the circuit up just for a bit more evidence. But yeah, it's inspiring. I think at our age we have to do it. I'm the same like you. I've got a huge belly now. I've only got one pair of jeans that fit me now, and I'm not even joking.
Hold on 1 second.
I can't get them over my belly. It's ridiculous.
Jay, you met OMONDI obviously, and he said one. I'm surprised any jeans fits him.
I reckon this
they don't make it long enough.
He takes like 3 strides and he's up that hill. It's like, I've seen him. I got off the tram miles away from Old Trafford and I seen him Monday.
The thing is, I'm a sprinter. I'm not a long distance. I can't, you know, unless I had some music or something. But if I do the sprint, get the heart pumping, that's enough for me. Yeah. Like 5-minute sprint or something.
It's so good. I like to get out there and I take it easy, man. I'm not fast. I just take it easy. Have a little listen to the music and chill and trying to forget the pain that is Manchester United Football Club at the minute, man. Put some tunes on, hit the pavement. But you know what happens? I'll be jogging and that, and I'll be thinking, nah, but that third goal against City, man, what was going on? I can't believe that, you know.
It is.
You know what's getting my heart pumping, though, is my little Ireland are finally going to make it to an international tournament, thanks in part to England, Scotland and Wales, because we're going to be hosting the 2018 Euros. So Ireland is finally making a tournament.
Wow. That's good. That is good.
Oh, this is what they get excited about in Ireland and things like that. Jesus. Wow. I want to get excited about Man United winning trophies again. Not Eurovision. England ain't going to vote anyone anyway. So
Eurovision?
Exactly.
The Euros, 28
the Euros. I apologize. I thought you said Eurovision. Apologies. I thought you said Eurovision. Yeah, I started that already. I apologize. I thought you was talking about the Eurovision. Sorry. Anyway, let's kickstart the show. If
you know what? While you're at it, you're probably going to have to build some stadiums in Ireland. Can we get some of your builders over to Old Trafford as well?
Have you seen Croke Park? Have you seen that absolute majestic stadium that is Croke Park? That is an absolute specimen of a stadium.
What's the capacity?
78,000.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
I've been to Lansdowne Roads years ago for Paul McGrath's testimonial, and that was rammed, packed out. But yeah, nothing like that. I'm sure it's only about 30, 40,000. But anyway, let's go.
Let's get kickstart. Guys, welcome. And if you're new to the channel, please hit that like, share, and subscribe button. We are the Man United Agenda. And we are going to start off with the managerial and Ten Hag. And the whole subject tonight, what we're going to be talking about is, for me, can he make Old Trafford a fortress again? Just like the great Sir Alex Ferguson did, where a team came to Old Trafford and, to be honest with you, we're probably 1-0 up before they even get off the coach. So for me, I'm going in and I'm going to sort of hitting the questions out and just everyone get involved in the conversation, in the comments as well, get involved in the conversation as well, with what we're doing. So Ten Hag been linked with Man United. I'm still a strong believer. I think it's going to be probably Poch. Yes, man. That's my reason behind it. But also going into bringing in Ten Hag, it seems almost like Rangnick is paving the path for the system he's trying to set up to implement for him then to come in to the club to take over. So, Jay, can Old Trafford become a fortress again?
I don't know about a lot of these things, you know, like there's a long way to go. Old Trafford's not been a fortress for quite some time. You know, I mean, first of all, you've just got to get the right manager in. I don't even know who the next manager is going to be. You know, you said maybe it's Pochettino, maybe it's Ten Hag. The latest sort of rumours seem to be that Ten Hag is the favourite, that the board, the hierarchy want him, that the sort of in agreement of he's the main man. I don't know how much now, between now and the end of the season, plays a part in that. I don't know if there's any sort of, you know, for me, if Ajax don't win the title this season, it doesn't matter. I think he's done a good job there. He came in, they've not won a title for 4 years. He won back-to-back titles. I think they had missed a year because of COVID. He won the double twice. He got to the Champions League semi-final. They were flying in the Champions League this season in the groups, and then obviously it didn't quite work out against Benfica. But he's done a good job in two ways. He's built a good team when you had the likes of De Ligt and De Jong and Ziyech and Donny van de Beek, of course. And when he lost all those players, he's built another one in a sort of short space of time. So I really like Ten Hag. I don't know a lot about him, but from what I've seen and what I've read, I like what he's about. Pochettino, I'm not as keen on. I know some people rave him and think he'd be a safe pair of hands, and you know he's worked on a budget at Tottenham and that sort of thing. But he's not for me. I just think he's underperformed a little bit, underwhelmed, I should say, a little bit. So I'm not too mad on him. But the idea of one of those coming in and turning Old Trafford into a fortress, in many ways, it should be a fortress. You got 76,000 fans there. I think the atmosphere is decent. I do. I think it gets a lot of stick. I'm part of that. You know, I'm in the crowd, and I think the TRA in this particular are doing a good job. But the fact of the matter is, we're a million miles away from being a fortress, and we have been for years. You look at it from David Moyes. We lost so many games under him at Old Trafford. Do you know what I mean? I remember speaking to my friend, and he'd been to 10 games that season, and we lost 9 of them. And I was like, do you know what I mean? Like, he was a jinx. He's not been back since. But like it was ridiculous the amount of games we started losing. And then it's been a trait, you know. Van Gaal lost his first game at Old Trafford against Swansea, if you remember that. Jose, who was synonymous with fantastic home records when he was at Inter, when he was at Real Madrid, when he was at Porto, when he was at Chelsea, had these long unbeaten home records. He got beat at Old Trafford. It's happened to Ollie's been beaten at Old Trafford, obviously, several times. Even, you know, this season he got beat I think 4 times before he got sacked. And then Rangnick's come in, the same thing. You know, we lost to Middlesbrough, we've lost to Atletico, we've lost to Wolves. These are beatable teams. So it's a massive ask to say to a manager to come in and make Old Trafford a fortress. But Old Trafford should be a fortress. We're one of the biggest clubs in the world, got one of the biggest stadiums, we've got one of the most passionate sets of fans. Why not? We've just got to get the right manager in who can do that. And I think if he is going to turn Old Trafford into a fortress, it's going to take a little while. I don't think he's going to come in and next season we're unbeatable at home. I don't think any manager could do that. I don't think even Fergie in his prime with his team could do that straight away. It's going to take a little bit of time, and that's where fans like ourselves have just got to try and be patient. I know it's not easy because we've been patient now for 6 seasons, but maybe another couple of seasons of just waiting, and then hopefully the right man can get the right results.
It's true what you're saying about time, though. I think we got to be patient here, man. You can't just come in and have a complete turnaround. It does take. Look at Klopp. Look at even Arteta. It's taken a couple of years. These sides are like 2-3 years ahead of us in that game. You know. I was looking at some news the other day about Paul Mitchell. You know, the Northern guy. He's got great reputation as well. He's now at Monaco, and Monaco beat PSG at home 3-0 the other day. I think it's at the weekend, and even though they're still out of the Champions League places, and then they both worked with Poch has worked with Paul Mitchell at Southampton, and our guy that we're looking at, Ten Hag. Sorry, Ralf has worked with Paul Mitchell as well at Red Bull. So it's still, you know, we put all the clues together to say who's coming to Old Trafford. We still don't know because there's always some sort of link. If you connect the dots with some managers, you can find a way to find out they're connected somehow. It's such a small footballing world that we live in, you know. And I think I do prefer Ten Hag, as Jay was saying. I think he's a much better manager going forward. He's younger. He's got a identity of style of play of football, which I've really been studying a lot since we've been interested with him, you know, and I think it's really good. I think it's modern, it's up to date, it's similar to Pep, what Pep does. Obviously, he's worked under Pep when he was at Bayern Munich as well. He's progressive. I think all the players, I mean, we've got Danny Bling playing out there looking like a worldie. We've got ex-Southampton players, ex-West Ham players there looking really good. Haller's, you know, looks amazing out there. So even though the only thing is people can say, how can you gauge the Dutch league to transferring that to the Premiership, because the Premiership is majorly different. We've seen that with Ronaldo, for example. His goal, you know, rate's gone down since he's come to the Premiership, and I think that would have happened even in his prime. It's that competitive, the league. So I'm with the Dutchman. I don't think Poch is the right man for us. I know you don't like that Solo, but I think Rebel. What are you saying, Rebel, about this?
Come on, listen. You know what? Yeah, quickly before I go to Rebel, imagine Poch comes in the club and you win the treble. The second season, you win the treble. Come on, man.
Not to nitpick with you on Monday, but actually, Ten Hag is 2 years older than Pochettino, but that's only a small, tiny, little insolent detail. Ten Hag's 52, Pochettino's 50. But in regards to Manchester United, Old Trafford, and the building of what we're looking at, obviously, we're seeing that certain players have flourished under Rangnick, and we're going to be looking for our next permanent manager to build on that and basically make other players better. But this season, United's fortress, we had 29 matches at Old Trafford, 40 wins, 7 losses, 48 goals, 40 conceded, 5 clean sheets. When we were at the height of creating an absolute amphitheatre at Old Trafford, in 07-08 season, played 38, won 27, goals 80, conceded 22. We had 21 clean sheets that year. That's how much of a psychological edge that Manchester United team had built around the psyche of coming to Old Trafford to play the giant that is Manchester United. And we have, as Jay said, a long ways to go to recoup that ground. But in the Pochettino versus Ten Hag debate, I do like what I'm seeing. Again, now, like Jay, I'm only starting to learn more about the guy as we look at him in depth because he's been linked with Manchester United. And I do believe that he would be preferable to Pochettino because, again, we have questions that are still hanging over Pochettino as to what he can deliver. He's won a French league, but when he was at Tottenham, he did good jobs, but did he take him to that cup-winning run, that Premier League run? No, he didn't. Is there a risk with Ten Hag? Absolutely. But is the upside better? And that is the question that resonates for me.
Okay. It's a hard one because obviously, again, I'm sort of doing a bit more research on Ten Hag. I'm utilizing and sort of getting a bit more information about sort of the style, the system he plays within the game. It's both managers really and truly use a short sort of shoestring when it comes to budgets and things like that. So with Tottenham, you didn't really see Poch get a lot of money with them. And then also with Ten Hag, it's basically like what Jay said. It's like almost with him, he gets every season he loses players, but he still managed to rebuild a team and take them to the next level. This season, just on top of my head, I think they've scored about 71 goals on unconceded 7 this season. My maths could be wrong, but at the same time, with him as well, it's a way of how he plays his style of football as well. And it's sort of like, it seems like most of the thing he does is we need to have a defensive midfield player. That's what we desperately need with the style he plays, because he plays that high pressing to basically take a bit of pressure away from the back four.
Well,
Rebel,
he plays.
go on, sorry, go on, Jay.
I think with the
Go
system,
on.
he plays two wide guys. That's for sure. It's 4-3-3. Can change to a 4-2-1-3 sort of system.
Yeah.
Always wide. Always guys hugging the
And
touchline.
diamond as well. He plays a 4-4-2 diamond as well.
Who? Ten Hag? We're talking.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that one, but you could be right. I haven't seen that. But definitely two wide men. That's very important for him. The main guy is Haller. I mean, he was in West Ham, couldn't score goals, but now he's getting service. And if you look at them, go and look at all the goals that Ajax score. It's similar to Man City. They're passing the ball across the 6-yard box, building up the play, and someone's tapping it in. It's as easy as that. But this is well drilled into their side. I've seen Ajax training sessions, and all their players, they need to be on the page. They need to be a certain sort of player. You were saying about the defensive midfielder. That guy has to distribute the ball, be comfortable on the ball. We can't. Someone like McTominay, I don't think would be suited for that. We need to sort of get players that fit the ID for Ten Hag's system. That's for sure. What they do, they will close you down. When you got a goal kick, the opposition's got a goal kick, they close you down, they press you really high up the pitch and try and get the ball, stop you from playing out. If you go and play long, they eat it up and build. And they're not a slow build inside. Like, remember we had Louis van Gaal recently, and he was like the last great Dutchman in 95, what he done with that Ajax team, with that young Ajax team. We got him much later, obviously, but he played a bit too slow for us, I believe, weren't progressive enough. And I think with this new Ajax, the way they're playing, they do play progressive balls, and they get the ball to the wide men very quickly. So you need to have that ability as a centre-back. Lindelof would fit in, for example. He can spray balls like that. And get more one-on-ones. They've got Anthony, and they've got the Serbian dude, Tadic, as well. And they both got different qualities, but it's utilised really well. The right back is really good, Moroccan right back. He raids forward. He can do overlaps with Anthony. And so the main goal is they build really fast as a team. Pop, pop, pop. They also play it long, a bit like Xavi from Barcelona now. He has that long ball. And then they just pass it across the 6-yard box and someone's there to score. Really, really good coaching, really good system. And I think it would take about 3-4 years. And we have to be patient. Don't sack him after 6 months or thing. We have to really be patient with this. And what Alex Ferguson said, I saw a quote by Alex Ferguson the other day. He said, when he came to Man United, he said, I came to build a club, not a team. And I think the same philosophy should apply to us now, because we are in the mud and we need to be patient with this guy. And we're going to go with him 100%. And let's not fall out and start booing after a few bad results.
Yeah. Did you want to touch on anything, Jay, there, or you're
No,
not
I
in?
mean,
You've got to agree
talks-
for Monday, otherwise you'll tow over you.
No, it's talking a lot of sense, about. I've heard the Sir Alex Ferguson quote about building a club, not just a team. That went for the youth system, the scouting network. He increased all that, the training ground, the facilities there. I went to the Cliff back in the day when Ferguson took over, and it was a bit of a cabbage patch. You used to be able to go visit. You used to be able to walk on the pitch when the players were training and just watch them like you were part of the training session. It was mad. But like he increased the scouting network. We had all the class of 92 and everything, the youth coming through, and he was given time and it works. Obviously, it paid dividends. Can that happen now? Will someone like Ten Hag be given time? One thing's for certain, he's going to have to make a few signings. You mentioned Xavi there, Omondi, and I think he brought in 4 players that he wanted to bring in or whatever it is, and he's sort of been able to turn things around there. You have to back a manager with signings, and if Ten Hag's going to want to play a certain way, then even despite the fact you've got to be patient, he's still going to want to bring in players almost immediately, because there's a lot of players that are going to move on anyway. We know Cavani's going to go, Pogba, Lingard, they're all likely to leave. There may be 1 or 2 others, maybe Eric Bailly, maybe Phil Jones. I'm not sure that those 2 could be on the way as well. Maybe Dean Henderson, but there's at least 3 players there that we know of, probably 1 or 2 more. So he's going to want to bring in some reinforcements or some players that can play his system, play his way. And I think this is where you've got to back him properly, because at the minute, we're hearing about maybe the lad, is it Mitchell, could be coming in, the director of football. Is it Paul Mitchell? Then there's talk that I saw something. There's a coach that used to be at Liverpool called Andrew O'Boyle, I think he is. There's talk of him coming to the club. Ralf Rangnick's going to be moving into a consultancy role. A new manager's going to come in and probably want to bring in his old coaches as well. John Murtaugh's there. You've got Darren Fletcher there as a technical director. I mean, you're in danger of having 10 or 11 coaches and not enough members of your team. It's ridiculous. So we need to make sure that the manager comes in, he can bring in whoever he needs to bring in as his assistant and his coaches or whatever, but mainly he's backed. That doesn't just mean going out and just buying Declan Rice and Harry Kane, but buying players that will fit the system. One thing that Ten Hag has done very well at Ajax, Amanda mentioned it there, Dusan Tadic, he was at Southampton and he was okay. He wasn't like a world beater where you go, okay, oh my God, look at him. He's amazing. He went to Ajax and he's thrived in that system. Daley Blind was a player that a lot of people had thought was, his best years behind him, but he's managed to get a tune out of him because he's got him playing in a system that suits him. He's very good at that, Ten Hag, but he needs the right players. So I think you can get him the right players without breaking the bank. And it's just important that the club do that, because it's what I don't want to see is him coming in and going, I want A, B, C, and D. And the hierarchy going, well, there's no shirt sales there, or you know what, we need a marquee signing. He's not really a marquee name, or do you know what, we've already got a deal in place for this player that we were going to get last season. We're going to go for him again, because that's what other managers have had to deal with. You look at it when Louis van Gaal came in. We went for Ander Herrera before Louis van Gaal ever arrived. Luke Shaw wasn't a Louis van Gaal signing. I know he was signed on his watch, but Louis van Gaal didn't get back from the World Cup and say, do you know that left back at Southampton? That's the kid I want. He probably never even heard of him. Do you know what I mean? So you got to look at who signed these players, who brought them in. It's the same. It's been the same throughout. There's certain players that United have been linked with and have been scouted or whatever before the managers have arrived. And it's not like we're buying them in mind for that manager. We're buying these players, or we're getting these players regardless of who comes in. And I think that's something that needs to change, because all we've seen on the last 3 or 4 managers is they've come in. What's the first thing that a new manager does? What's the first thing Jose did? He looked at someone like Bastian Schweinsteiger and said, don't want you. Ollie looked at Romelu Lukaku, Alexis Sanchez, Marouane Fellaini, don't want you. Louis van Gaal came in. He looked at other player, looks a little bit like at Fellaini again. He was a Moyes signing, not for me. I know eventually he got back into the team, but there's always been a manager's come in and gone, no, not for me. With the signings that the previous managers made, you can't run a football club like that, man. You're just going to be in this never-ending circle of wasting money, of getting nowhere. So we need to let Ten Hag, whoever comes in, come in, make signings that they want, and be patient with them, because we're reaching a critical point here now at Manchester United. You've got Newcastle with all their new money. City and Liverpool are stronger than ever. Arsenal look like, as Amanda was saying, under Arteta, they've got their act together. Conte, even though it's been a bit of a shaky start at Spurs, he is a winner. He is. Don't dismiss him. He's a winner. And if he stays another season, I'll be very worried, because that's going to mean Spurs, potentially Newcastle, it might take them a couple of seasons because they've got to spend money. Arsenal, City, Liverpool, Chelsea. There's 6 teams that could potentially be above Manchester United next season.
Worrying.
It's worrying. So we've got to get this one right.
Yeah, worrying.
Absolutely.
So, guys, there's 30 people in the chat. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, and also just hit the like. It doesn't cost anything at all. Rebel, you're saying something.
Yeah, and I think the other one actually to watch out for, Jay, is possibly Fulham, because they are absolutely loaded with Tony Khan's money as well. So if they get it right, they could be another danger club to look over our shoulders at.
Yeah, listen, there's all sorts of clubs. Sports washing is a thing. We know that. People are just picking up clubs and throwing money at them. And this is the world we live in now. This is why United have got a box clever. We've got a fantastic set of youngsters coming through. You look at the kid, James Garner, what the job he's done at Forest. Had a great game against Leicester, a great game against Arsenal, a great game against Liverpool. Was absolutely unpicking that defence with some fantastic passes. You look at the youth team who got through to the FA Youth Cup final, the likes of Garnacho, who's been on fire, Charlie McNeil, who just cannot stop scoring goals. You've got others like the lad, Kobe Mainu, Sam Maffa. There's a wealth of talent there, but you've got to nurture it, you've got to use it right. So get the right signings, get a manager who can use the youth team in the right way. These are things that Manchester United have been famous for. We've been famous throughout our history of nurturing youth, of bringing through young players, going back to the Busby Babes, to Sir Alex Ferguson with the class of 92, to the likes of more recently Scott McTominay, Marcus Rashford, and players like that. This is what the new manager's got to do, because you can have a lot of money being spent on a lot of clubs, and we've just got to make sure that we don't get left behind.
Actually, it's interesting that you mentioned Marcus Rashford, because I was looking as well at another one of the challenges that's going to face the next permanent manager, and that is looking at the likes of Marcus. We have seen what the effect Rangnick had on Sancho and Dallo and a few other players, and the positive changes in their gameplay. But Marcus Rashford, a guy that came on to us, it was the 2015-16 season, made his debut because Anthony Martial got injured, scored a brace, and it seemed like the world was at his oyster, that he had a limited ceiling potential, and that he was going to kick on and go strong. He had 2 quality seasons where he got over 20, 30 goals for us. But this season, he just seems to be lacking an element of confidence. There seems to be something definitely in his psyche, whether he's lacking that bit of bravery to get involved in a challenge because of those injuries that he's had to have surgery on. Maybe he's carrying a bit too much muscle, but there just seems to be something different regarding Marcus this year, that he hasn't hitting the on-field performances that we as Manchester United fans had hoped for when he burst onto the scene as a youngster. And I wonder, when a new manager looks at him, will they think, I can get a tune out of this fella, I can bring him back to the place where he's been? Or will he say, look, Marcus, it's not working out, I need to move you on for the better of your career and the better of our team?
It's a good question. I mean, I love Marcus Rashford. He's probably my favourite player. He hasn't been playing well recently. There's no denying that. I think some of the abuse he's got is OTT. It's ridiculous. But you look at his performance, he's been very poor. I'm not just saying that justifies the abuse. It doesn't. I think the thing with Marcus Rashford is, in many ways, it's how not to handle a footballer. If you look at Marcus Rashford's career, that is not how you handle a young footballer. He was thrown in because we got injuries to Anthony Martial and Will Keane. You remember he got an injury as well. Marcus Rashford was thrown in against Managerial, gets a brace. Before he was thrown into that game, when he was at the academy, there was a question mark as whether he'd even make it at United. People weren't sure. He wasn't like Mason Greenwood or Ryan Giggs or, someone who you go, that's a definite Manchester United player for the future. It was with Marcus, it was like, he might make it, he might not. He's very slim, he's a bit patchy, whatever. Comes into the first team, brace against Manchester, scores against Arsenal, scores the winner in the derby, just absolutely flies. Then he has a sort of a season where he's transitioning a bit. He's in and out of the team. He's in as a striker. He's on the left. He's on the right. Then we have a change of manager. Then he has injuries. Then he has another manager who sticks. Then he has another manager who, again, drops him quite a lot, rotates him with Anthony Martial. Then he has Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, who believes in him, but plays him a lot when he's injured. We see him hobbling around the pitch, still getting, I know it was obviously we've done all the subs against Liverpool. He's playing with a shoulder injury. He's playing with his shoulder strapped up. He's playing through the pain barrier. He's playing when he's got an ankle injury. He's playing in different positions. Then he gets another manager again this season. He's starting on the left. He's starting on the right. He's starting down the middle. He's part of a 2. He's part of a 3. He's starting the game. He's coming on as sub. I mean, the guy's been all over the gaff. Now, that doesn't justify some of the performances, but it does give you a sort of reason for some of them as well. I just don't think Marcus Rashford has been handled in the right way. Is a move the answer? I'm not sure. I think that one thing Marcus Rashford has always done throughout his career so far is defy the odds. People didn't know whether he was good enough for United. He got into the team, kept his place in the team. He's on and off the pitch. He's done things that many people didn't expect. You mentioned there back-to-back seasons where he's got over 20 goals. Also, similar number of assists. Let's not forget that. So, I'd say count Marcus Rashford out at your peril. I still think there might be, a lot of life left in his Manchester United career. I just hope he sorts it out sooner rather than later, because it's paining me to see the abuse he's getting. And to be honest with you, even the performances they're putting in, they're not Marcus Rashford performances at all. They're not what you used to seeing from him. Something's not right. And the new manager, you're right, one thing that he has got to sort out is, if he is going to keep Marcus Rashford, here's an idea. This is a bit of a revolutionary one, and this is a bit out there, so just bear with me. Forgive me if I offend anyone. Why don't we try coaching him? Why don't we try talking to him? Why don't we try and do what Pep does with Raheem Sterling? Raheem Sterling, Pep never shuts up with him. I've seen him in Manchester City win the FA Cup. Pep's talking to Raheem Sterling, telling him what he should have been doing and this, that, and the other. He coaches the lad. He gets him playing a certain way. And Raheem Sterling has been banging in 20-odd goals every season for the last 5 seasons or whatever it is, because he's had someone there coaching him, coaching a player and getting the best out of him. When's Marcus Rashford had that? Maybe that's what he needs.
Wow. I'm glad you follow up on that point. I totally agree. When I was thinking about what am I going to say about Rashford, and I agree with what Jay said. He has gone off the boil. I think his attribute is pace. He's lucky as well, living in this era where there's wide men, inside forwards, kind of thing. He suits that role. I can't imagine him in a 4-4-2 as a striker. I don't think he'd fit in like that. So he's got an opportunity here to fit into the side on the left-hand side. I think that's his best position. But like you're saying, it's like he's not as a team player and then mentally as well. I think he needs to improve his decision-making. That's a major factor for me. You only have to look around the squad or look at other players like Mane in his position. We've got who's the guy from Arsenal, the youngster coming through now, who was always Martinelli. He's doing really well. Look at what they do. Look how effective they can be. You know, even like Neymar. But I think he's a bit lost. He's all pace, and lack of decision making. I think he's in two minds about what he needs to do. And like Jay said, that's the solution. You need someone to come in and coach the man and say to him, "Look, you're good. You've got to be effective." I know it's irrelevant here. Got a young guy called Damien. Big shout out to Damien, plays for our Sunday side. Pace galore. But what he does, he ends up. He could kill teams. He could be twice a player. He could be the best player in our league. But he's just got pure pace, no touch. Sorry, Damien, no touch at all. And because all his life is like get the ball and run with it, and he's never developed his game. I say to him, look, you need to be injured or something, and then slow you down, and then you have to develop. Same applies to Marcus Rashford. He needs to develop his game in that respect, slow down, pop it off, 1-2s, open things up. And I think if Ten Hag comes in, it would be questionable whether he'd really want him or whether he could really work with him at 24 years old. Because at Ajax, you should be showing this sort of ability at 15, 16. Not this English style where it's like, oh, you've got super pace or you're 6 foot tall at 15. You know, that kind of thing. Where he's probably looking at this guy and thinking, wow, is that all you've got at 24 years old? I know I got a youngster at Ajax who's 16 years old has got more IQ than you. Possibly, you know. I'm not putting Marcus down, but this is the side of the game I want to see him improve. So I'm unsure about his future. I just think he needs, like Jay saying, I think he needs someone to get behind him, coach him, tell him exactly what he needs to be doing. Someone who knows the game properly. And we haven't had that over the last few years.
Yeah, when I used to do the press conferences at Man City, I remember because Sterling is a good example. When he came in under Pellegrini, and when Pep was appointed, he made a point of ringing Sterling, or calling him and saying, "Listen, I've got plans for you. Me and you, when I get there, we're going to have a chat. I think you're a good player, and I think I'm looking forward to working with you." And it gave him a bit of a lift, Sterling, and then it worked together quite closely. Maybe that's what Marcus needs. I don't know, but you're right. You're right, Monday. You know, there's no denying the performance is that good enough, and it's a decision because like you say, a new manager could come in and go, "You're not for me." There's no God-given right to play for Manchester United. Or he might come in and you go, "Listen, you are a player in the past who scored a lot of goals, got a lot of assists. You've got the skill, you've got the ability. I can work with that. I can get you performing to the level that you should be." It'll be interesting to see what happens. I hope, don't know, but I hope a new manager comes in and gets the best out of Marcus Rashford, because when he is playing well, he's a great player.
It's the new. Go on, Rebel. Go on. I'll come in after you. Go on.
I just want to say I was sitting there nodding while Jay was talking in reply to the Rashford question. Obviously, you couldn't see it because my camera's off. But the interesting conundrum that I think could present itself for the new manager is to get the best out of Marcus Rashford playing on the left. There is the dilemma that is Jadon Sancho, who has been fantastic for us on the left. So there is probably going to be a battle there as to who reigns supreme on the left wing.
And I'm going to sit there. I'm going to put on it as well. I'm going to go with Jay in Jay's corner here. For me, when I was playing football, I played at an okay level. I was very injury prone when I was playing football. Literally hamstring. I got short hamstring. But my coach, who I had, basically, he used to put his arm around me all the time just to give me that confidence, because I was just bursting with pace. I used to run with my head down. And then in some training session, what he'll do is, as I'm running with my head down, he'll get the ball and literally throw the ball in my head for me to lift my head up to basically see the other players around me. Because I'd sit there, I'll go down by the byline. Before I could get the crosses, everyone's still behind me. So again, it's to do with the coaches. And if we had it now, we came on a Van Gaal. Then after Van Gaal, we had Jose. Then after Jose, then we had Solskjaer. And now we've got our interim manager in the club. So for me, I look at Rashford and I think to myself, that's probably the reason he's not really and truly performing, because there's so many different styles. There's so many different ways a manager wants you to play. I know we can sit there and say, but you're a professional footballer. You should be able to, take instruction and listen to instruction. But not all players are like that. Some players want an arm around them. We're not sure if he's getting an arm around him or not. We're not sure if he's one of those players. But looking at Ole Gunnar Solskjaer when he was at the club, you could tell he probably saw Rashford and go around, put his hand around it. With Ralf, I don't think Ralf does stuff like that. So I think it's like what Jay, it's to do with coaching. It has to be with coaching. That's why his level is dropped this season. And then we're going to jump into some of the comments in a minute, guys. So bear with us. I just need a Monday last part, and then we'll then go into the comments.
Well, you want me to go to the comments now?
No, just the last thing with the style of football we're going to be seeing.
Well, look, these things take years to implement into a club. I think that's why I mentioned the thing about the Alex Ferguson quote. I mean, you can come in and you got to say to yourself, right, I've got to get results here first of all. So maybe like Ralf, for example, we saw this with Ralf. Ralf, we done our homework on Ralf. As soon as we found out he was coming to the club, we said, all right, he plays like this. This is the system. This is what he wants to play, and he even done a whole presentation on it. So it's not hard to find, or the information. But then naturally, he had to adapt it to what we had, and I think long term we have to adapt our style of our system. First of all, have a system of play. Like Jay was saying, bring players in that fit the system. That's simple as that. You got 16-year-old Ryan Gravenberch, or whatever his name is, coming into the system, balling, looking fantastic in the Ajax system, because he's been trained all the way up through the club. Because the club is mint. The club is gold out there.
I love when you say mint. When you say mint, it reminds me of Jay.
I'm saying it
it's a northern thing, isn't it? It's mint. It's
like
mint.
a Manc there, Monday. It's a little Mancunian there. Like you're from Salford.
There you go. So the system, it's a 4-3-3, like I said earlier. It's similar to what we got now. You got one man who's sort of like the Donny van der Beek, or who plays sort of like as a number 10, sort of like the Frank de Boer in the false nine kind of thing, which in '95 Louis van Gaal used to play. So at the moment they've got a guy playing number 10 who sort of sits behind and can drop back in. So it's that he go drop back into the 3 in the midfield as well. And it works really well. But the thing is, everybody on the side, just like with Pep, is well drilled, and they pop the ball around, play 1-2 touch football, and like I say, go and check out this training session to see how different that might be to something we might see at Old Trafford or any Premiership club, apart from City maybe. So I love the system. Like I said, it's just about implementing it, taking years, put it through from the youths to the women's even, making our whole identity this kind of system of football. I like Ralf as well, because Ralf is very similar to what we have here. The pressing, the high pressing, the way they squeeze the play, suffocate people high up the pitch. But it takes time. We're going to make mistakes, There's going to be a calamity somewhere along the line while we're getting it right. And you can't. That's what I'm saying. The main thing here is patience. I love the system. I could talk about it. I could do a whole show on it if you really want. I've got so much notes on it. But I just think I recommend everyone go and sit down, watch Ajax play football. It's good on the eye. The fans enjoy it. They're even singing Bob Marley songs. They're so relaxed sitting back there and watching the game. But it's true. It's a lovely brand of football. And it's sort of similar to Pep. And when Pep leaves, I heard that City wanted to get this guy in because he was the most similar manager to Pep. And if you look at Pep's style of football, it's beautiful, whether it's at Bayern Munich or Barcelona, as we saw in the Champions League final against us. They play a great brand of football. If we could bring in this guy, we would be it's not copycatting, but just matching what the brand, what the elite style of football is today. And I'm really, the more I talk about it, the more excited I get.
Can I just throw in a quick question, actually, because you mentioned a certain Donny van der Beek. And there's a number of managers now that have had a look at Donny in the English Premier League. He's gone through, 2 Manchester United managers, and he's with Frank Lampard currently over in Everton, and he seems to be struggling. Do you think that a Ten Hag could get a Donny van der Beek playing for Manchester United?
100%.
He's got the old guy from Everton. He's brought him back to Ajax now. What's his name? Danny Clyson's?
Clayson, isn't it?
Clayson. He's playing the number 10 role now for them. He's gone all the way back after coming to Everton, being a failure, because it doesn't work elsewhere. It has to work with specific teams. And I think Donny's tailor-made for Ten Hag.
So, anything you want to touch on that, Jay, before we move on?
No, I mean, listen, the Donny van der Beek debate is going to be raging on. We'll see what happens. I spoke to an Everton fan the other day. He said that he's been playing very well for Everton. He said he liked what he'd seen at Everton. I haven't seen a lot of Donny van der Beek. I said I think I think like Everton, he plays well at home and not so well away from home. I know he missed the Newcastle game, and I think he missed the Palace game as well. But it'll be interesting to see what happens because, obviously, Ten Hag, if he comes in, he knows him, he got a tune out of him when he was at Ajax. Can I get him doing that for us in the Premier League? It'll probably save him a massive headache if he can, because there's one of the players in one of your positions sorted already. But we'll have to wait and see, because I think, for me, from what I've seen in the Premier League, the jury's still out on Van der Beek.
Yeah. And guys, if you're watching, please hit that like, share, and subscribe. There's 35 in the chat, so if you wouldn't mind hitting that like button, if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe. On Monday, it's your turn. But before you go away, the best of Cantona. Listen, we're together in this one.
Okay, Duru Costas, welcome
to the channel. Appreciate
John B,
it.
welcome to the channel.
Big
Said
up,
he might not pay for his tram tickets, but aside from that, J Motti.
Do you know what, man? Right, wait, look at this, right? No, this slander, right? This is slander. Let me show you something now, right? I use the app, right? And then, hang on a minute. Look, I still got
got your bank card on it as well, Jay? Jay,
see,
Jay's,
still
you got bank card there.
Today's ticket on there. What, sorry?
You got your bank details. We can scan it.
I'll tell you what, you can have my debts if you want them. You have my overdraft. But yeah, I don't know where this. I've seen other people saying this, like, oh, Jay, I've seen him on the tram, he don't buy a ticket. It's on me.
You see? Oi,
so many crosses, man. Snitches get stitches. Don't forget that.
Yeah, Jay, on Monday, it's like he thinks he's from Harrow, innit? Jump over the ticket barrier.
Yeah.
What?
Box is in the house. Box said, I don't mind anyone. All the managers are on the short list, so the right type of guys we should be going for.
I like that, man. I like that positivity.
Saying what I'm particularly interested with, and this may be hopeful in brackets, that Man United will start spending money smartly or smarter on up-and-coming players and not people like Rice, the big ones. That's what Jay said earlier, isn't it?
Yeah.
About just going out Kane and Rice, I think he said. Box is saying we need to develop young players into first-team players, ready players. Some of the youth lately haven't been built up well through poor coaching and poor mentality. I think we're doing better in that respect, though. United's perspective says, I do agree with him, Box. As the saying goes, if you're good enough, you're
old enough.
Yeah. I don't know. I like the youths. There's a few youths.
Welcome.
I think if you look at the players that I mentioned going through, and also a lot of our low knees are doing well. I think Ethan Laird got injured, but until then he was doing well. Garner, I've already mentioned. Brandon Williams, I spoke to a couple of Norwich fans who think he's been one of the bright sparks of their season. So I don't necessarily think that it's a mentality thing with our youngsters. I can agree on the coaching part that maybe they've not always had the best coaching, or maybe they've been sort of moved around from pillar to post, thrown in, drops, put back in a team that's doing well, then it's struggling, all that sort of stuff. But no, I think we've got quite a good crop of youngsters. We've just got to make sure we handle them properly. That's vital for the next Manchester United manager, that he's able to do it properly, because we can't just be throwing them all in and hoping that's going to work, because it won't, and it could end up ruining a few of their careers.
I have to agree with Jay on that one, to be honest with you, because I think, Jay, you probably saw the Under-19 Champions League game against Dortmund as well, and the style of football they were playing was rather impressive. That left-back, Fernandes, he's a fine young fella as well. Yeah,
I've got a few good players there, a few youngsters. It's always difficult with young players to tell, because I remember seeing youngsters, like, I'm a bit old, like going back. I remember saying that Terry Cook was going to be a Manchester United legend, and that Kiko Makeda would end up scoring 200 goals for us. Do you know what I mean? All them ones. I've always come out with that sort of thing.
Januzaj as well. What about Januzaj?
Oh yeah, Januzaj. Don't you worry about that. Januzaj, I tell you what, he'll have a statue next to George Best by the time and the guy ends up. Do you know what I mean? Like, it barely makes 50 appearances for us. So I'm not the best judge, sorry. And I think you have to temper your expectations, because you just don't know with some of them. Like, they do well at youth level, injuries or whatever can just catch up with them. But we have got a good crop there of young players. There's a couple that get me really excited. And I think that if we handle them rightly, I know it sounds like a broken drum, but we've got to really make sure we handle them in the correct way and get the best out of them, because you can wreck young players if you just either don't give them any opportunities or if you throw them in too often. I think maybe with Januzaj that happened a little bit with him. We threw him in. He got a couple of goals against Sunderland, and he was playing every week like he was like the main man, and he wasn't quite up to that standard. I think he needed taking out a little bit, and he never fully recovered. So I think we've just got to be careful with how we handle these youngsters.
Yeah, 100%.
You should be the spokesman for your youth team, man.
Yeah,
Michael said he went to the game on Tuesday and he's horrified by the abuse Rashford was getting. I think what he said, we need to stick behind our players.
Yeah, it was horrible.
Richard Herbert was on the quiz the other day, got 6 out of 12. He said we need to get it right, correct to play it. A manager who can coach as well as spend wisely and give the manager time to build. If you look at a team like Klopp, Liverpool fans wanted him out. I remember after 3 years. Bath time with Vaughan's in the house. He's saying Klopp signed like 12 players in the first 2 seasons, and they're getting it right now, aren't they? Hi, Patrick. How you doing?
Big up, Patrick.
He's talking about Rashford here. Has he peaked though? Possibly. I think. Well, who knows? He's still.
Yeah, I think we've all said that, and we like, the next manager's got a decision to make. I don't think anyone's sat here going, it's set in stone that Marcus Rashford is going to be at United for the rest of his career. I think he is at a bit of a crossroads, perhaps. I'm hoping he can play a part towards the end of the season and give the new manager a bit of a reminder of what he's capable of. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see whether whoever comes in, like we've said, wants to get the best out of him or thinks that it's better for him to move on. It may be the latter. It may be that he needs to move on for the sake of his career and because it's not happening for him at Manchester United. I hope that's not the case. He's a Manchester United fan. We know what he's capable of. I'd love to see him turn this around and get back to the player we know, but it's certainly not set in stone.
And the last one from me, it's from Sam, Paxton Road, our sister channel, the Spurs channel. Big up, Sam. Knows his football, knows his stuff. He says, your next coach has to have the vision and have real identity that fits the club ethos and the players you have. Otherwise, you are in the same merry-go-round as us. But you're all right. They're all right, aren't they? Spurs, got a good manager.
Yeah, we're going to go on to that afterwards.
Okay. And by the way, we got 30 people watching. Can we have more people liking as well? Thank you very much.
Thank you. So, if you're new to the channel, hit that like. And if you're also new to the channel, hit that subscribe button as well, guys. Thank you so much. Next topic. This is a painful one. Absolutely painful. So we had Arsenal who won on Saturday. Was it Saturday or Sunday? And then Spurs went and won as well. Arsenal still got a game in hand over us. If they win that game in hand, I believe they got about 7. Is it 7 points or 6 points clear? I think 7 points clear of us. So is top 4 realistic still for Manchester United, guys? Really and truly, if we look deeply and we be open and honest with ourselves, can we actually make top 4? And if we don't make top 4, what would be the recruitment process? Would it be graded down? Or do you guys believe we'll probably still get the same amount of money to spend on whatever budget they're giving us?
Hot topic.
I feel it's. I'll be honest. I feel it's done. I think we've missed it now. I felt like Watford was the final straw. I did. I felt that. I just thought you can't keep drawing and dropping points at home, and not even at home. To some of the teams we've dropped points to, you look at the run we had, and you look at we only lost about 1 game during this run, but we dropped points to Aston Villa when we were 2 goals up with 20 minutes to go. Burnley, Wolves, Newcastle, Watford. I feel like I'm missing some along the way as well. There's a couple there I can't remember, but we've dropped too many silly points, and it's caught up with us. And I think Arsenal have kicked into gear. They got beat off Liverpool. They bounced straight back with a win away at Villa. And I just feel like now we're going to struggle, and everyone's looking at it going, okay, we've got to go to the Emirates, and if we beat them there, we can get a result. But our record against the top teams this season, it's not been great. I know we beat Arsenal at home under Michael Carrick, and we beat Spurs, but we've struggled in some of the bigger games. And I just thought, I'll be honest with you, there's 27 points from Manchester United on the table against far better teams than we've been playing. If you look at some of those ones we've got in terms of those first 9 games we had under Ralf Rangnick, now you look at these next 9 games, they're a lot tougher. And I just think we've got to be realistic. I don't think we're going to get more than 20 points, and I don't think that'll be enough. I'm sorry to say it. I am, because I love Champions League football and I want to see Manchester United in the Champions League. But even if we don't get Champions League football, right? People going, if we don't get Champions League football, this is it. This is doomed. You've got a manager who knows what he's doing. We can bring in the right signings without Champions League football. We can. It's not going to be easy, and you're not going to have the budget probably that you might have had. But you can still make good signings. You can still get a tune out of some of these players. It's not over. It's not like we don't get Champions League football, we should all go home and take up watching rugby. There's still a good squad there. There's still some good players. There's still some class players there. And if a manager comes in, uses the youngsters, makes the right signings, whether we get Champions League football or not, we'll be in, we can still have a good go of it next season. So yeah, I'm already sort of tempering my expectations into the point that I just don't think it's happening. I just think we've missed it. We've missed it. Too many silly draws.
And to be honest with you as well, Jay, with missing the Champions League, we're gonna stitch Mr. B up. He might be watching. He doesn't know yet, but if we get Europa League, he'll be doing the channel. Me on Monday and Rebel. We're not doing anything on the United agenda.
What?
On Thursday night.
Thursday night football is not for me. I'm taking it off on Thursday night.
Do you know what? For a split second, I was like, well, hang on a minute. I've been coming on this channel now for about a year or whatever, trying to back you guys, promoting you guys, saying get these guys, go and check them out. And you're going to tell me, you know what? We're done with the channel now. We're just handing it over to Mr. B. I was like, what?
No. We're stitching him up. We don't want the Thursday night football. Thursday night football killed us season before last. After the,
what it is though, right? They suck you back in. They do, man. Like I was in Stockholm when we played in the Europa League final and we beat Ajax, and I remember after that game I was like, right, great night, back in the Champions League, won the Europa League, completed the set. I never want to see this competition again. Right? 2 years later, we're back in it. I'm like, man. Do you know what I mean? Like you say, nah, I'm done with it. But then 2 years later, we're back in it, and I'm going to games again, watching it. Do you know what I mean? Or I'm watching it at home. They'll suck you in, man. It's what United do. They do it all the time. Trust me. You'll be like, I'm not interested in it, and then we'll get to like the quarterfinals or something, and we'll get someone like someone like AC Milan or someone will be in it, and then you'll be thinking United versus Milan. Yeah, that's a nice little tie. That yeah, I might just watch that one. Mr. B, I'll come on with you. I'll come and do the game. Yeah, we'll have a bit of that.
You know something, that Villa game, I was hoping Villa would put it on Arsenal like Everton did in December, because we have to rely on Arsenal dropping points, and usually they've got soft underbelly. They do sort of start to flop. But I watched that game and I thought Arsenal was superb. I just think it's down to years of training, years of drilled tactics and that kind of thing, and it came off. That's what they can fall back on when the chips are down. You can really sort of fall back on a system, and that's what they had. And I hate to say it, but they look really good, and I was hoping they would slip up. As regards to Champions League football, look, if we got, I'm looking at the names of players we've got in the youths coming through. These guys get an opportunity to play in the Europa League or whatever conference, whatever, and we don't have to take that seriously, but we can give them good experience. And then we could sort of transform the side that way. So it could be a blessing in disguise. But obviously, I do want to get championship football. It's not over yet. I'm not giving up just yet. I'm still giving it the large one with all these Arsenal fans. I still think they're going to flop somehow. But as the weeks go by,
they flop. But what about Tottenham? You need Tottenham to flop as well. But Jay, this question keep popping up, and I'll keep getting the same question. Where are you with Rangnick at the moment, Jay?
I like Ralf Rangnick. I think he's a good guy. I think he's been a good character. I like his interviews. I just feel like it's not worked out the way I hoped. I was hoping for a bit more. I'm not going to lie to you. When he came in, I didn't know a lot about him. I'd never even heard of him, really. I know he was Schalke manager when we played them in the Champions League. And I went to that game at Old Trafford, but I don't remember the manager. I didn't remember him there. And I thought, okay, he's well respected. Everyone raves about him. Tuchel raves about him. Klopp raves about him. He invented this gegenpress and all this stuff, or he's one of the first architects of it. He's a venerable type of character who should come in and be able to stamp his authority down. And he did to a certain degree. But I think you've got to be honest about this. Getting knocked out of the FA Cup at home to Middlesbrough, Atletico Madrid, a difficult team to beat, but we should have beat them at Old Trafford for me. We did the hard work over in Madrid, getting the 1-1. You should be beating those teams at home. Losing at home to Wolves, dropping points against the likes of Burnley, Newcastle, Villa, Watford, all the other teams I mentioned. I just don't think it's quite happened with him. And now we're hearing these stories today that nothing has even been set in stone as to what his consultancy role will be, which was the one thing that got me excited about him. Was coming in, yes, he's going to be caretaker manager or interim manager, and then he's going to move upstairs, and then we're going to have a football man making footballing decisions, but we might be marginalised. He might just be in an advisor role that no one listens to. We don't know. So I don't really think it's worked out, and that's not a reflection on him. I think it was just maybe the board sort of I'm careful what I say here because I don't want people to misconstrue this as me having a dig at Ralf Rangnick and saying that, you know, he's not good enough or any of that sort of stuff. I just think when you look at it and you think it was a bit of a gamble really to bring in someone who hadn't been in a dugout for a few years. He was a director of football at Lokomotiv Moscow, to bring him into the Manchester United changing room and go, right, sort this mess out. And he did a little bit. Some of those early results in games were decent, but it's just not worked out the way I hoped. And I think if we do end up not getting Champions League football, you'll have to look at it and go, wasn't a success. I'm sorry, but that's just the way I see it. I think there was enough games left and there was enough talent there for us to have either got Champions League football or got for the last stages of the FA Cup, or hopefully maybe the latter stages of the Champions League, and we're in danger of doing none of those things.
Yeah, I have to agree with what you're saying there, Jay. And I suppose the question is, though, if we do fail to make Champions League football, could it actually focus the mind on the type of players that we are actually buying? Because if you remember correctly, over the last number of seasons, we bought these high ego players that come with a lot of baggage, and that when your squad is strong and your unit is strong, you can carry these egos because they're playing to the level that these egos want them. But could we, by making Champions League, make the same mistakes of like bringing in maybe a Dybala who, when things go wrong, could start acting out and disrupting the dressing room again? So maybe is there a small light to not making it next season, and it might refocus on those type of players that we want and need?
Well, let me ask you this though, right? Because it's a fair question though, Rebel, like that you ask about, you know, egos and that sort of stuff. But who are some of the biggest egos we've signed since Fergie retired? The biggest sort of names or the biggest egos?
Sanchez probably was one for me.
Another big one. Di Maria. Zlatan
to the extent.
Pogba.
Yeah, huge.
Di Maria, Zlatan, Pogba all signed when we didn't have Champions League football. So you don't know. You don't know what can happen with this board and this man, because there's no logic to this club sometimes. Because I hear what you're saying, and I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying this board could go in off the deep end and go, we haven't got Champions League football. Let's throw 200 million quid a manager to get us back into the Champions League. Let's buy a load of marquee signings like we did in 2014 and 2016. Or they might go, right, Champions League football, we're not getting income from that. Let's tighten our purse strings. You better make do with 50 million or whatever. You just don't know. There's no logic.
No,
so
I think we do know. We're surely not going down that road again. Surely not.
Sure, bro, I've been saying surely. Do you know how many times I've said surely with this Manchester United team over the last 10 years? Surely we can't do this again. Surely we're not going to do that. Surely they won't appoint him. Surely we won't buy him.
Come on. We got to fix. We need to fix this club, man. And that's the kind of decision making that needs to change.
I agree. I agree it does. But I just wouldn't, you just don't know. That's my thing with this team. And
how do you know that all those three players signed when we weren't playing Champions League? Was that a guess, or have you used that one before?
I remember. I'll tell you what I knew. I remember it with Di Maria. He was one of the marquee signings when Louis van Gaal came in. He was in that summer. He was one of his big signings. We didn't have Champions League football because that's why David Moyes had been sacked. I remember that Louis van Gaal got sacked after winning the FA Cup, but we didn't make the Champions League. We finished sixth, I think. Jose came in. Two of his first signings was Zlatan and Paul Pogba. So I just knew we didn't have Champions League football for three of the biggest signings we've made. Do you know what I mean? Like in terms of like the name and the marquee value and the actual transfer fee and the sort of the ego and all the rest of it. So I just know that it's something that's happened at this club in the past where we have fallen a little bit short. They've gone, right, okay, let's go big. You remember Van Gaal's first season where we didn't, he came in the summer. We hadn't had Champions League football. We went out, we bought like Shaw, Herrera, I think Daley Blind, Di Maria, Falcao. Those players came in. Do you know what I mean? It was like a spending spree, wasn't it? It was like, got to get Champions League, get a load of players in. This is what I mean about, did Van Gaal really know much about Ander Herrera? Had he really gone, that's the guy for me? Because this is a guy we tried to sign the summer before. Did he know a lot about Luke Shaw? Yeah. Did he come in and go, that 18-year-old left-back from Southampton? Yeah. I was watching him as well? World Cup. I was watching him in the reserves. I wanted him.
You remember as well, Jay? I don't know if any of you guys remember this story that was going around where the two guys pretended to be Man United representatives behind Herrera.
That's what I mean. Imposters, right? So we were trying to sign. They weren't United, but United wanted Herrera a season before Van Gaal arrived. So who's making these decisions? Do you know what I mean? Like, there's something going down there where the scouts or whoever, or whether it's Matt Judge or Woodward or whoever, were going, right, this is the player. So this is what just sort of worries me a little bit. And this is what we need to sort out. If whoever comes in as manager has got to have the strength to go, listen, no one's signing anyone unless I say so. If I'm coming in, I want certain signings, because it looks like even Jose, to a certain degree, there was rumours that he wasn't mad keen on Paul Pogba. He was more or less told, we're getting him for you. And it was like, well, okay. And when he did want certain players, when he did want, when he's just before he got sacked, he wanted a defender. He wanted, I think, Harry Maguire. He was told, no, you're not having him. So it just seems like there's always something going on above the manager that we don't really know about, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Are the fans prepared to be patient, though? That's what I want to say.
We have to.
Fans can put a lot of pressure on the team.
Are
they prepared to take 1 or 2 seasons to see some sort of progress?
Well, are you guys? This is a fair question. Are you guys prepared?
I'm prepared.
Yeah.
I'm prepared.
As long as I see some kind of
improvement
steps towards that, I'm
I've got every intention, if you'll have me, of coming back on this channel for the next 2 seasons. If I come on here, are we going to be sat here if we're in 7th a season from now going, then I've got to go? It's not worked out.
Got to be positive.
I understand that United fans are impatient because we've been spoiled for 25 years under Fergie. We were. I was a spoiled brat. So we win everything. You know what I mean? I used to moan when we finished second, or I moaned, right, when we won the league and lost the Champions League final. I was moaning. I was like, this is a terrible season, man.
Do you know
this rubbishness. Barcelona playing us off the park. Do you know what I mean? Sulking because I've only got my Premier League title to keep me warm. So we are spoiled. But this is the thing: can we show a bit of patience? I think every United fan I speak to says yes, and I agree. I'm going to do that myself. We've got an opportunity as well on the platform here to encourage that.
Can I throw a question at Jay as well, please?
Say,
if you don't mind.
what? We're backing this manager. We said it would be a long-term thing. This is what it's going to take.
Can I just throw a quick question out to Jay and to you, Solo, and OMONDI? Because Jay raised a good point. He took us back to when we were doing the Ender Herrera thing. That was also the farcical season where we were chasing Bale, like we were chasing the pink dragon, because we were never getting Gareth Bale. And this season, again, with the questions over what Rangnick's role is going to be, the question is, who actually has the autonomy to make the transfer decisions? Because we don't, as of yet, know who our new manager is. We don't, as of yet, know whether Fletcher and Murtaugh are still going to be in their capacity as directors of football. We don't know what the impact of Rangnick is, and we don't know if there's actually going to be a new director of football brought in. So who's going to be making the transfer decisions next season?
I mean, it's a good question. I've got one question before we get into all that, though. Chasing the pink dragon.
Welcome to the United Agenda.
What?
Oh, Rebel.
We were chasing.
Nice out of Rebel.
It's a South Park reference.
We were chasing the pink dragon.
Oh,
bro. Right, okay.
It's a South Park reference.
Right, sorry. I don't want South Park. Apologies.
No.
My friends will be cussing me now because they like South Park. But no, you know what? I was worried because I'm a little bit worried because there's all these ifs and buts, and we do seem to have a lot of people getting involved. There's Murtaugh, there's George, there's Arnold, Richard Arnold's taking over. What's he going to say? There's I was saying earlier, this Andrew O'Boyle guy's been linked with being assistant to John Murtaugh. Obviously, you got John Murtaugh and Darren Fletcher. Ralf Rangnick has brought in Chris Armas. I'm guessing Chris Armas goes when he goes. Then you've also got Mike Phelan still knocking around. What is going on in the backroom staff? Who's coming in and who's taking over, and what sort of structure you're going to have? Because at the minute you could have, I don't even know how it'd work. You know what I mean? You'd have like the Glazers, then you'd have Richard Arnold, then you'd have, is Matt Judge still involved? Then you've got John Murtaugh, then you've got Darren Fletcher, you've got Ralf Rangnick as a consultant, then you could have this Andrew O'Boyle guy who's been linked with being an assistant to John Murtaugh, then you could have the manager, then you can have Mike Phelan could still be knocking around, and you could have the new managers, coaches that he's brought in as well. Then you can have Darren Fletcher. I think I missed him out. I mean, what's that? Do you know what I mean?
Too much.
You're not going to have enough room on the bench. You're going to have some of your coaches. You're going to have some of your coaches sat in the Stretford end because there's too many of them to fit on the bench. You know what I mean? We need to sort of get a plan in place so we've not just got 37 coaches and not enough players.
and still ain't winning nothing.
I think it should be the manager who decides. He's the one who said, "This is how I want my style of play. These are the sort of players I want," and identify, right, I need a centre midfielder. I want this guy or someone who fits this bill. That's the manager's got. It's got to be the manager. It can't be anyone else.
Yeah, I think. Go on. I just think at the moment it's sort of this system and sort of like from upstairs to downstairs, it's a case of they need to almost like rebuild. So whoever the new manager is, he bring all his backroom staff and everyone he needs, and United just do a clearance, complete clearance, because all this thing I'm hearing about they're bringing this person back to keep a sort of cohesion within the club, rubbish. That's just covering up like the cracks at the moment. What they need to do is they need to actually physically allow the manager to bring in his staff in and allow him to basically make a decision on who he wants in the club, what the transfer targets are, and go and help him to get the transfer targets. Because all I want to see from Manu, I'll back the manager no matter what. I will back him if there's progression within the club and giving him time to build this team. And for me, that's all I'm expecting. If we go out there and sort of, you know, lose 1-0 or 2-0 or something like that, but I can see it will pain me, don't get me wrong, but you can see progression football. That's all I want to see at Manchester United for the club, to get back to those ways.
That's right.
Yeah, I agree. And I think if you look, you know, in the past, we've seen it with managers where they've had, even Fergie, you know, Fergie had a good second season. He finished second in his second full season, or his first full season. And then it was mid-table in his third season. And people are going, rah, this guy, you know. And then in his third full season is when we were struggling in the league. You know, I was only a kid, I remember. But we won the FA Cup, and that bought him time. And then he won the Cup Winners' Cup, and then we finished second in the league, and then he won the league. Klopp at Liverpool, I'm not comparing Klopp to Fergie because Fergie's miles ahead of him. But Klopp, when he went into Liverpool, he went in there, again, the first couple of seasons, they lost the League Cup final, lost the Europa League final. They were finishing sort of, I think they finished 8th one season, 4th another season. Nothing amazing, really. But then he gets to the Champions League final. People start believing and seeing what he's trying to do. He's backed properly in the transfer market. I think they made 10 signings in 2 seasons, or, you know, in two windows. He's back with the right players. When he wanted Virgil van Dijk and they didn't get him at first, they didn't go out and get a different player. They waited and got him in the next window. That's a plan. That's a strategy. It makes sense. When they said we're getting Jurgen Klopp in, he's going to take over from Brendan Rodgers and take it to a new level, but he's not that dissimilar, likes a high press, likes to play, you know, quick football. But someone like Mo Salah fits in for him. That was a long-term target. They get Salah for him. And look what he's done there. He's just been an absolute revelation. They're getting Sadio Mane. They're getting players that suit him and suit his style of football. And that's what United needs to do, because like I said earlier at the top end of the show, we haven't had that strategy. We haven't had long-term planning. When Pep Guardiola was linked or was going to City, they knew he was going. So they brought in De Bruyne. They brought in Sterling. Not for Pellegrini, sorry, but under Pellegrini, knowing that Pep Guardiola's taking over and these are the types of players he'll want. And what's the first thing Pep does when he gets to the Etihad? Well, when he takes the job, ring Sterling. You're my guy. I want you. You are a good player. I'm looking forward to working with you. Look at how De Bruyne has played under Pep Guardiola. Sean, this is a guy that left Chelsea because they didn't think he was good enough. They knew what they were doing. They had a strategy, and it pains me to say it because I hate these clubs. I hate them. I hate Liverpool and I hate City, but they're getting it right and we're getting it wrong. And that's where we are, because yes, the Glazers, right? The Glazers have took the mick out of this club with the dividends, with the debt we're in, with the everything else that's come with it. They've absolutely, you know, wrecked us, but we've still spent over £1 billion. You can't spend £1 billion in 7 seasons and say that's got nothing to do with your failures. It's mismanagement, man. It is. And we've got to start getting this right, because we're not going to be able to spend another £1 billion until we win a trophy. That ain't going to happen. So we need to get these signings right. And we need to back the manager with a long-term plan and strategy that's cohesive to what he's trying to do.
Actually, interesting as well.
Yeah.
It is a World Cup year. We can't forget this year. So the players are going to want to get their future secured very early this window. So we need to have our backroom house in order, rather sharpish, so that we're not left dragging our heels late into the window when players have decided where they're going, because they want to be secure to make sure that they're playing their football for World Cup squads. Yeah,
it's a World Cup year as well. Yeah, 100%. So Armando, would you mind taking some of these comments away, please?
There's a lot of comments. Woo!
Loads.
God.
Good, you're
say hi to Emma. Emma's in the house. She don't care. where we are as long as we can see clear improvement, like we were saying. So we don't mind. He won't be booing after 6 months if we're losing. That's what we want. Coming up, Eddie's in the house.
Big up, Eddie. Welcome.
Eddie. So big up, man. He's dropping a like. Rich Sports is here as well. Box is saying we had 8 wins, 8 draws, and about 4 losses under Ralf. Very average form considering the fixtures were easy on paper. Mark Edmonds in the house, all the way from Australia, said we were conceding 4 or 5 goals a game. Ralf got us competitive. I agree with that statement. And finally, Sam saying Ralf does not have the command. Sorry, Ralf does not have the command to manage Man U. He doesn't think he's strong enough, particularly as there's some deep-rooted problems. The next manager will be under huge pressure. Yeah.
Got another newbie as well. I'm on there for you.
Big up S. He says, I'm jealous of Barcelona. They rebuild the club in just 4 months. Well, to Xavi. Yeah, that's a great result at the weekend, wasn't it? 4-0 away at Real Madrid.
Can I just come in on that one, actually? Because they aren't out of the woods yet in Barcelona, because next season their wage budget drops by 2/3 of what it is this season. So they do have a big financial problem to overcome again next year. So their work isn't done yet.
Brilliant. So thank you, guys. So everyone in the comments, hit that like, share, and subscribe. There's 41 in the chat. So Jay, just a quick summary at the moment. You got an issue at the moment. Omondi brought someone on the channel the other week, and they got 11 out of 12. I don't know whether or not that was rigged or not, but we need to investigate it.
Seriously, man.
I don't know if he's got it up. Let's move this off.
It's not up yet. It's not up, but it's my my football chairman, Darren.
Oh, well, your chairman's suddenly top of the leaderboard. There's a shot.
He's actually a Barnet supporter, but he took Man United.
It's not up yet. It's not up.
Yeah, got 11 out. Equal with you, Jay.
That's all right.
So still in the running, guys. If you want to compete and be top of the leaderboard with 12 out of 12, come and meet me on Friday
I think
night.
It's a stitch up, to be honest with you, Jay. I was on holiday, so don't blame me for it.
You need an adjudicator. No, I'm not gonna. It was that guy that was the Arsenal fan that was throwing shade at me when I won. It was like rigged.
Silver Fox. Silver Fox.
Oh, yeah. That would be
Silver Fox. Typical Arsenal. Typical Arsenal.
Angry. Like, there wasn't a time limit when I was doing it. If I'd have known there was a time, I would have done it. I was like,
the funny thing was, I asked Jay questions about Brian McClare, and he only met him. He didn't interview him. Maybe weeks prior. It
was funny because he was asking me, you know what, you told me off because you not told me off, but you advised me to stop waffling. Because the first time I did it, I was giving you the backstory on all these answers. I remember one of the questions was, who's the first signing for Manchester United under Sir Alex Ferguson? And the answer is Viv Anderson. Which instead of just going, it's Viv Anderson, I went, well, actually, it's a funny story. Because I was with Brian McClare today, and he was telling me that he was going to be the first signing. Him and Viv Anderson went there at the same time. But Viv Anderson actually signed before he did. So technically, Viv Anderson, and at the end of it, you went, Jay, that's an amazing story, but there's a time limit, man. You got to be quicker.
Brilliant. Absolutely.
You're going to have to change your chosen subject because you're around the club so much. You're always interviewing top players. You're always at Old Trafford. So it's going to be, no wonder you're top of the leaderboard.
I get nervous for United. My memory's not too clever on more recent games. Even games I'm at, I forget. Do you know what I mean? I forget who scored and all that sort of madness. But I prefer it when I get questions that are more just general football based, because then if I get them wrong, people aren't digging me out. People aren't going, oh, you call yourself a United fan, you don't even know who scored the second goal the 1979 FA Cup final, you disgrace.
Get on the tram and get home. Go.
But Jay, at the moment, it seemed that you will be coming back on, and we are going to be doing a head-to-head with on Monday's he gave all the answer to, coach. But guys, if you do want to take part in the quiz show, all you need to do is just leave a comments below and we'll get in contact with you.
Thanks for the plug, Errol. Thanks for the plug.
Oh, you're welcome, sir. And the quiz show will be on Friday night as well, this Friday night at 8:30 p.m. So make sure you tune in as well if you want to see on Monday ask some people dinosaur questions back from the 17th century.
Actually, here's a thought. Maybe Jay could get his revenge and be the quiz master on a Monday.
Ooh.
All right.
Yeah.
Off the cuff.
I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll do a solo quiz, right? I'll do a quiz on who said this. Who said this?
You got David Moyes, the arse from the elbow, What else have you got?
Yeah, we'll do a Who Said This quiz, man.
Yeah. What is it? Building a house with sand, or what is it?
Yeah.
From Monday?
The only trouble with this quiz is
That's from the Bible.
It's going to last for about 8 hours when I go through all the madness that's gone on this channel when I've been on it.
Oh, absolutely brilliant. Always a pleasure, guys. If you're watching, 47 in the chat at the moment, so hit that like, share, and subscribe button, guys. It's much appreciated.
Big up to all the new faces as well, man.
And big up, yeah. Really appreciate all the support,
man.
guys.
It's good to see, you guys. I think what you on now, like, is it 1,300 subscribers?
Yes.
But, it's good. It's good to see you getting the recognition you deserve. I admire the fact you do your video content, you stay true to yourselves, you do it regularly as well. People know on a Friday night you've got the quiz of a Monday. You know you've got the watch along. You know you've got the Monday night show. You're doing that regular content, and I know that I can see as well whenever I come on here, you've got quite a cult following as well in terms of there's a lot of people that always come and watch, always come. I see the same people in the chat, a lot of the same faces and the same names, and that's good, man, because people they need that, they enjoy it for a reason. And I think, we get a few messages as well on the channel, and people say, you love what you do. And it's part of my routine now. My routine is on a Monday or on a Tuesday or whatever. I'll watch you guys. And I see the same thing on your channel, man. And it's good to see you doing that and sticking with it. And just keep going, man, because it's always a pleasure coming on here. It is. I enjoy it. I enjoy it. We can have a debate. We can disagree, Errol's, I think I disagree with everything that Errol says, but we're still friends. We still get on. I'm surprised you've not been doing a little bit more gloating, actually, Mr. Solo, because your boys come good.
I know. My boys.
Brazilian passport.
Actually, you know what?
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, he's been one of the few shining stars over the last month or so, to be fair to you. You and my dad are happy.
Especially last 3 games.
Because my dad backs him all the way.
Yeah, I'm still backing. I'm backing Fred all the way. I'm backing Fred, the Bradford Fred. I'm backing him all the way.
Fred Redondo. Or Fred Redondo. That movie did that on the day. Wow.
The Bradford Fred. Why'd you call him the Bradford Fred?
Basically, because I back him. All my friends say he's from Bradford. Because I back him. So
rather than Brazil.
So it's Fred.
Did you see his little trick against
Oh, that was beautiful. Oh, that was
Redondo, Berbatov.
I did a split screen. I'll send it to you. I sent it to my dad because he loves Fred with the Berbatov one. And my dad sent me a message back straight away saying Fred's was better.
Berbatov scored and Redondo.
Yeah, he laid on. Do you know what I was gutted about, right? Berbatov laid it on to Ronaldo, who scored. And Fred, he fluffed his lines with a pass because Ronaldo was waiting. And if he'd have passed it to Ronaldo to scored, it would have been perfect, man. It would have been perfect. But never mind.
Yeah. But there's a comment here for you, and it's from apparently bath time always enjoy when you meet thingy Mr. B. I don't know if it's to do with the hair or not. I'm not sure.
Is it someone said in the comments he looks like me dad?
Yeah.
I love Mr. B, and I love the fact. Hey, hello, he's turned his camera on now. Finally, he's with us.
He's with us.
Yeah, no, I love Mr. B, and this is what I mean, like, because you know what I love Mr. B. Whenever he starts a sentence, he lets you know exactly what he's going to say for the rest of his comment. Say, I'm having no Marcus Rashford slander. And that is that.
Where is Mr. B?
Oh, he's celebrating a birthday, not his one though.
Give him a wave.
Yeah, happy birthday. But Jay, we are going to ask where you're from, even though I know you've sort of all on Jay. There's a comment here.
Jay, do you believe that Man United will ultimately bring in someone above the new manager, a Paul Mitchell or someone else? We discussed it. Yeah.
I don't know. This is the good question from K Slater 23. I personally don't think we will. I personally think it'll be John Murtagh who fills that role. I think he's keen to do that. I don't know. It's just a feeling I've gotten from what I've heard from certain reporters. I don't like to say I'm not ITK, but I think a new manager will come in and then it'll be sort of the structure might be the manager and then John Murtagh and then Richard Arnold. I think that's how it might work if it works at all. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I mean, I don't know a lot about Paul Mitchell, but I know a couple of lads who were sort of salivating at the mouth at the thought of him coming to United because they think he's done a great job where he's been before at Spurs and other clubs. But I don't know. I'm sceptical he will come to United, but who knows?
Yeah. What's this? Richard Go on, Omondi, because your eyesight.
Richard Herbert, who got 6 out of 12. So top lads, you lot love it. I would love Omondi, the manager. I would give Omondi the manager job. Jay, assistant manager, solo coach, and Rebel orange cutter.
Wow.
Wow. Wow.
You know what I mean?
Wow. Sorry, Rebel.
Maybe some Roy Keane orange cutting, tap some legs.
Jay, and you bring in a fake soul patch for the next show. That's the part. The Aussie.
Some madness. I'll try my best.
I'll try his best. But guys, as always, Jay, I know you're gonna say, but we got Rushmana. We'll say big up Rushmana in a second. Jay, where can we find you, sir? I know, but we need to get people over to you as well.
Doing this? Are we still doing this?
We are.
You know where to find me, right? And if you don't know where to find me by now, I've wasted the last 9 years of my life. What you should be doing is checking out these guys. If you come over from here because of Stretford Paddock, because I put a link in the community post or on my Twitter or whatever, then make sure you are subscribing to this channel because, like I said earlier, you do content every night, different content. You know, in terms of like you got a quiz, you got a watch along, you got all the reviews, the previews and stuff. Great guys on there, and I like the fact you're working with other content creators as well. You're getting involved. There's always a good little. I don't use the word lightly, but a good little family of you guys. It's always enjoyable, man. You know, it's not been easy watching United recently, but every time I come on here, I get cheered up. So make sure you're hitting that subscribe button to these guys, man. The growth has been good over the last sort of 6 months. These guys over 1,300 subscribers. Let's get to 2,000 by the end of the season, yeah? 2,000 subs by the end of the season. That's my goal now, yeah? So I want to see this happen. 2,000 subs for the United agenda by the end of this season. We can do it, man. You deserve it.
Brilliant, thank you. And Jay, don't forget you're going to be chasing. Make sure you don't have no nightmare about pink whatever he was talking about earlier.
You know what? I'm going to say that to my kids. Like, I'll go, Daddy's going to chase in the pink dragon. They'll be like, Dad, what are you talking about?
I wouldn't say that to your kids. Definitely not.
Yeah, if it's South Park, you're right. I better not.
Yeah. So hold on. Last few comments, I'm just going to hit them up.
Andy says, "Rebel, you got a coffee stain on your top, mate."
Oh wow, the camera's that good.
You read all comments, you lot, don't you? Hey, you don't.
Rushmana.
How you doing, Rushmana?
You'll read any comment that people put.
Rusty Store Blazers outside Old Trafford is Parker.
Yeah, I do the news with my Parker.
Is that the one that's flashing? Isn't it a Parker jacket?
Go, Jay.
No, I don't flash.
Jay's a star. As much for social comments as his football runs. Top man.
Thank you.
Big up, Jay.
People
top
give me grief sometimes because I don't want to talk about football on my socials.
It's nice not catching United at the moment.
But does anyone feel like you're enjoying having a couple of weeks off?
I'm enjoying it. I'm gloating at the moment. We haven't lost any points.
Do you know what it was though? It was rough, wasn't it? Because it's the first weekend no United for a little while. Arsenal win, City win, Liverpool win. You're like, oh, what is this?
And Jay, we've got a
Alexandro
from Puerto Rico joining us.
He says, "Hi, Jay." He says, "Am I the only one who believes Man United can do top 4?"
Do you know what? I hope you're right, Alejandro. I do. I hope I'm wrong and you're right. And if I am wrong, I will come on here and I will apologize to you for being negative.
Jay.
We've done this one. Yeah,
we've done it.
Oh, that was another one. That's the second.
That's another one.
Oh, is it second? Okay. Top show. Don't a Mr. B lookalike for the next show. Wear a fake soul patch.
What is it? Mr. B always says, "I will have no Mr. B slander on this channel."
Costa says, "Top show, guys, and definitely promote the channel."
Appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. Thank you. But guys, from the Man United agenda, I'm Solo, Rebel, Omondi, and as always, thank you all for watching, liking, sharing, subscribe, and as always, again, we just got to say big up to Jay for the support.
Thanks having listen,
it's lovely always having him on.
Media shall thank you.
No, we love having you on. It's always, you know what the thing is, Jay, when you come on here, yeah, it's almost like, I don't know what is it, like calamity. We come up with sort of words we probably wouldn't even use, but we don't mean to use the words, but they just come out of our mouth like Rebel tonight.
Don't make like, listen, I watch this channel when I'm not on it, right? Don't make out like it's all smooth sailing when I'm not on it, right? Like, you're trying them ones with me, brother, right? Like, oh, you know what, Jay? It's only when you're on it that I say these things. You say them all the time.
I'm terrible. You know what though? The worst part about it is the pronunciation, I'm terrible.
It doesn't matter.
No,
We're
it doesn't,
authentic. This is
man.
what we do.
No matter.
Exactly, man.
But
People love
guys, there is 41 still in the chat. Just hit that like and hit that subscribe button. And from us, from the United Agenda, we will be back tomorrow night at 8:30 p.m. So tune in and look out for us. So from us, good night.
Bye-bye.